close to 40 million doses of a coronavirus vaccine could be rolled out as early as next month across the UK, but Health Secretary Matt Hancock says immunisation won't be compulsory.
The vaccine could prevent 90% of people getting COVID, and given the devastating effect of the virus, should vaccination be compulsory for all?
According to a Twitter poll, almost 36% say it should be, 64% disagree with forced vaccination. In a YouGov poll, we found 66% would be willing to have the vaccine, 14% wouldn't, and 20% were unsure.
Well, we're joined now by Glenn DeShields, who is a vaccine trial volunteer from Texas. And also by journalist Eve Pollard, who says it should be against the law not to take the vaccine, as it's the only way to get the world back to normal. Former model COVID survivor Linda Lusardi says nobody should be forced to take it and is adamant she won't. And Dr. Gabriel Scally, professor in public health at Bristol University as well. And Dr. Hillary is here, of course, as well. But first, Glenn, were you a guinea pig in the Pfizer trial?
Yes,
Right.
I was a guinea pig.
So you were either, Glenn, as I understand it, you were either in the control group or in the vaccinated group, and I'm not sure whether you know which one you were in.
You can tell. The placebo was a saltwater shot, which provoked basically no response from your body. I would compare it to a mild hangover, I guess, are the side effects I had, in injection site pain that lasted probably about 2 or 3 days. I talked to a lot of my doctors. Second dose, I had similar response. And I did take an antibody test after that second dose, and I do have antibodies now. And I've tested for coronavirus multiple times and always have been negative.
And Glenn, for those, obviously it's very exciting news for the world, and it's thanks to people like you who've helped us get to this stage. So thank you very much for your public service and to all those who've been taking part in the trials. But for those who may be wary of having the vaccine, what would your message be?
Get it. Get it as quick as you can get it. This is the only way to end it. A vaccine being produced doesn't do us any good. Everybody getting vaccinated ends it. So I would tell everybody, my piece of advice would be get it done, and get it done as soon as they allow you to get it.
And the worst that happened to you, having been injected with the vaccine, was you felt like you had a bit of a hangover?
Correct. I had a headache and I was fatigued. That was the only thing that 24 hours.
That sounds like a normal Wednesday to me, Glenn.
People are concerned about longer-term side effects, but currently you haven't experienced anything negative.
Nothing. I'm 2 months after the last dose, and nothing. I'm as good as ever. And I don't have the coronavirus.
Glenn, it's great to talk to you. Thank you for joining us, staying up so late, because you've sent a really important message there. And you're quite right. You can have a vaccine, but if people don't take it, it's pointless. Really appreciate you joining us. Let's go to Eve Pollard. Eve, you feel strongly the vaccine should be mandatory for people. Obviously, that's quite a controversial position. Many people say, well, I don't want to be forced to do anything. Why do you feel that?
Nobody wants to be forced to do anything, like being in lockdown by being... I look at shops and I think, if it's too crowded, I'm not going in there. It's common sense. The way we got rid of polio, the way we got rid of whooping cough, it's not mandatory, but it more or less is, because people had them at the time when people would accept them. Pregnant women now get an injection for whooping cough, so their baby never gets it. If we don't do it, there'll be a football match or there'll be a music festival or something, and it will rise again. So number one, we'll all be in lockdown because we'll be terrified of getting it. Number two, foreign countries won't let us in. It's common sense. We've been so lucky they've discovered a vaccine. They've worked their brains out since this COVID-19, got into our world. If we don't all have it, it'll come back and it'll haunt us, and there'll be little flare-ups here and there, and people will avoid certain places and avoid certain towns. It's got to be mandatory.
Professor Scally, you're an expert in public health. Eve Pollard makes a very good point. There are some things at the moment which are mandatory. Lockdown's mandatory. Wearing masks in enclosed spaces is mandatory. If everybody had the vaccine, we could emerge from all of it, couldn't we?
Well, we don't yet know how good the vaccine is at stopping the transmission of the virus. We know it stops people getting symptoms, but they may still get infected and may transmit the virus. So we don't know yet how protective it is. But I know of no country in the world that actually makes vaccination mandatory on the citizens. Places like the States, in schools, for example, in a lot of the US, your children have to be vaccinated before they can go to a public school. And that's one thing, but forcing people to have a needle stuck into them and a solution injected into them, it's not the way we do things. We get rid of these diseases because we see it as a collective responsibility, and we do it voluntarily. It's like blood donation. It's one of these things we do, and we do it to protect the small proportion of people who, for whatever medical reason, good medical reason, can't have the vaccination. And we should be relying on that community effort this time around as well. OK,
Linda Lusardi, I'm quite surprised by your position because you were so ill with COVID. You thought you were dying at one stage. You were so ill. You feel strongly that you're not going to have the vaccine and you don't think people should. I mean, the analogy I would give is when we get in a car, you have to have regulations to protect your safety, like wearing a seatbelt. And we all do that. It's mandated. It's done to stop us dying. What is the ideological difference between that and taking a vaccine?
Well, I'm not against people having the vaccine, and I'm sure the majority of people will have the vaccine. My concern is that not enough testing's been done. I mean, I know you had a scientist, Chris Smith, on the other day, and he was actually saying that people that have had COVID, this vaccination may not, may have side effects that are derogatory to the person. And as most of the nation aren't sure if they've had it or not, a lot of people might become ill because of it. I do think the majority of people will have it, will have the vaccine, and I'm really excited that there is one, but I don't feel that there's been enough research so far for people like me to have the vaccine.
Well, that's a crucial point. Let's go to Dr. Hillary. The question mark is people know it takes years to get a vaccine normally, and for many things, we've never got a vaccine. We still don't have one for HIV, for example, after 30 years of trying. How is it we've got so fast to a vaccine, and why should we trust it?
Well, it's been carried out on 50,000 people and in 6 different countries. And all the data suggests that it's very effective, 90% effective, and with a very good safety profile. COVID-19 is a serious illness. It kills people. And this vaccine looks like a really good candidate amongst many other candidates for helping to protect not just the individual, but the population at large.
Professor Skelly, are you convinced about the safety of it, considering the short timescale? Though I think there are lots of people, I mean, there are certain anti-vaxxers who are concerned about it, so let's put that to one side. But there are people who are very supportive, like Linda Lusardi, who know exactly what COVID does to you, who are very supportive of vaccinations, but might have concerns about the accelerated speed of this particular product.
Well, it is very important that the vaccine goes through properly all the stages. As Dr. Hillary said, it's gone through the trials. It has a profile of minor side effects, no major problems. It has to go through the regulators yet and be approved. And that's the safety thing, really. But when you look at the symptoms of COVID-19 and the deaths from COVID-19 and long COVID, and the possibility that there will be even more disease emerging in the future. The vaccine looks a really, really good bet. And the difference between this and seatbelts is no one's forcing you to drive a car. If you don't want to wear seatbelts, you don't have to drive a car. It's a completely different matter forcing people to be injected. And I don't think that's the way we do things, really.
Hillary, you want to jump in finally?
Yeah, I think there's 2 important things to say. Firstly, that you can't make this compulsory because if you vaccinate people against their wishes, it's an assault on the patient. It's never been done before. It's against the law. It can't do that. What I prefer is encouragement, persuasion and education. If we can persuade people that this is a valuable vaccine to have, it protects the individual, it protects the NHS, it protects society at large, then I think we'll get somewhere.
I would say, look, if you don't want to have it, fine, but you're not allowed to fly because why should other countries take you if you haven't had the vaccine?
Yep.
Well, other countries might make that stipulation
And I would go further and say, actually, OK, then you sign a waiver that if you don't have the vaccine and you get COVID, you don't get NHS treatment. Job done.
Yeah.
There we are.
That
was
was-
That's
persuaded
making
you.
it
happen.
mandatory.
Not mandatory,
by
but
stealth.
you got to really think about it hard. Thanks to our panel. Really appreciate you all joining us this morning.
Yeah.